You'll never believe who attended Pete Carroll's farewell dinner in Seattle last night. Pete Carroll hosted a farewell dinner after being let go by the Seahawks earlier in the day after 14 seasons as the Seahawks head coach. Several former Seahawks were there, including Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, current Seahawk Tyler Lockett was there. And guess who also showed up to the Seattle-held event? Current Denver native, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson showed up to Pete Carroll's farewell dinner. I'm assuming there's a lot of things going into this. Obviously, that means Russ got an invite. Obviously, that means there's been some sort of communication between Russ and Pete, whether that's through a mediary, whether that's through Team 3 and Pete's guys getting a hold of each other, whether that's Pete going direct to Team 3 or Pete direct to Russ. There was some sort of way that Pete got the invite out to Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson accepted and presumably went from Denver to Seattle.
Russell Wilson, we saw the pictures of him out with you the other night. What was that like?
It was great to see all those guys, great to see Russ. But I'm walking out the door at the end of it, and we're getting ready to go, and Richard and Russell are standing in the doorway, and they both looked at me and said, look what had to happen for you to get us two talking to one another and having fun. You know.
A report came out last March that Russell Wilson tried to get Pete Carroll and John Schneider fired before he left Seattle. Russ denied the report. Pete never did. Since then, Sean Payton became the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Since then, Sean Payton has come out and publicly said he can't believe all the things that were happening a year ago with the Denver Broncos. He said that he can't believe that Russell Wilson had his own office and had his own people in the building and had all the freedoms that he was given. Sean Payton's come out and criticized the treatment that Russell Wilson was given. It's been reported that Sean Payton yelled at Russell Wilson during practice and said, "Will you f***ing stop kissing babies?" Criticizing the way that Russell Wilson carries himself. It's been reported since then that the Denver Broncos actually approached Russell Wilson and asked him to waive his injury guarantee for next year, but keep playing. Do you know how insane that is to ask a high-profile player to do, by the way? The injury guarantee is in there because if I get hurt playing for your organization, then I don't have a way to make money next year. So there's an injury guarantee that high-profile players get. You're saying, hey, you mean enough to this organization that we need to make sure we take care of you in case you get hurt. We got your back. That's what that injury guarantee is for. So the fact that the organization would actually come to Russell Wilson and ask him to waive that and keep playing, and if he doesn't waive it, they actually threatened to bench him. They wound up waiting several weeks and then benching him. And Russell didn't say a single bad thing about the organization, but he kept it up here. Somewhere in here, he knew, man, in Seattle, it never happened like this. Somewhere up here, when Sean Payton's screaming at Russell Wilson on the sideline in front of all of America and in front of all of the team and treating a veteran quarterback a way that veteran quarterbacks just straight up don't get treated. Somewhere in Russell Wilson's head was, Pete Carroll wouldn't have done that. Pete Carroll's always been a class act. Russell Wilson has always been a class act too. Aside from demanding Pete Carroll and John Schneider gets fired, but Russell Wilson's a Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. Russell Wilson went to the Seattle Children's Hospital almost every week that he was in Seattle. Russell dedicated a ton of time and care and empathy to the community of Seattle, did a ton of great things. And I'm sure he does a ton of great things in Denver too. Somewhere in Russell Wilson's head this year had to be regret. Had to be a level of, man, I miss Seattle. I bet when he looks at his bank account, he doesn't regret it because Seattle wasn't going to give him the money that Denver just gave him. Pete's always been a class act. Always. He's always, I believe him when he says that he loves his players. I believe him when he says that he just treats guys with love and respect and all that. And if nothing else, that's proven by the fact that even in the midst of Russell Wilson taking the most criticism he's ever taken in his entire life, he shows up to Pete Carroll's farewell dinner because he respects the man that much. Please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more content surrounding happenings of the NFL, the MLB, the NHL, the NBA, the NCAA, the ABCD, the NWA, sports world. Please subscribe.